Great to see so many people joining. If you are coming in just now, just give us your name and affiliation in the chat. We'd love to know and welcome you to this webinar.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Okay, so we are just, everyone's putting their name and affiliation in the chat. We are recording this for future reference. And you can get things officially started whenever you're ready, Mark.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. First of all, thanks everybody for being here. We're really excited to give you sort of a prelude to this campaign, which we've talked about now for over a year. It's come a long way. It's evolved a great deal, thanks to a lot of different people who've been working on it. You're going to hear quite a bit from the team that's been doing this work for so long, and among them, obviously California Marine Sanctuary Foundation, the May 77 team, Ocean Protection Council staff, Sea Level Rise leadership team with the Comms Communications Subcommittee has really had a huge impact on this as well. Lisa Lynn Mager in CNRA, as well as Secretary Crowfoot, has weighed in quite a bit on various different aspects of this along the way. And so it is changed a little bit of tone. If people remember, at the beginning was pretty hardcore approach at first, about a year ago. And so you're going to see sort of a softer, more humorous approach to this, which I think I hope you like. I think you'll find it's very engaging, and also there's been just tremendous work that you're going to see presented in regards to a website that has that is really beautiful, engaging, and pretty user friendly, and really can serve as that'll be a CNRA website, which I think is hugely important. It's not an OPC website, and it's something that really gives us the platform to share the extraordinary stories of what everybody's doing in California and maybe even beyond, to really build coastal resilience for the state in the face of climate change and sea level rise. And so so hopefully you'll see that. Some of you guys I know have seen previous versions of that as well. So we're really excited about this at this point. It's going to launch at the end of September. One of the things that I do request of everybody, just to be sensitive about it, is we really don't want any of this getting out prior to the launch date. And so please, 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 please don't forward any of the information. I think we're not sending it to you directly, just to be safe in that regard. But it is pretty important from the standpoint of the effectiveness of the campaign to really do it in that manner where all the materials get released at the same time and none of it gets leaked out ahead of time. So with that, I'll pass it over to Ricky, and the show's yours.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark, for that introduction. My name is Ricky Erickson. I'm the Director of Marine Programs for the California Marine Sanctuary. And just going to introduce quickly the May 77 team and Puente strategy. We have on board Nadia Gonzalez, Matthew King, Kevin McCarthy from May 77 and Puente Strategies. And then we have from the California Marine Sanctuary Foundation team, you have myself and also Caitlin Sprafera and Robert Mazurek. And with that, we're going to jump into the campaign, and I'm going to go pretty quickly because we are going to have time. Really, we just want to hear from you. So the goal of the campaign is to heighten the awareness and sense of urgency so that we can create a resilient Californian. We want to provide Californians with ways to learn more and to get involved. And then really the reason that we're relying on you so heavily is to engage with you and promote the work that you are already doing and will be doing in the future, and work collectively as we move forward. So our campaign theme is The Ocean is Moving In, and it brings to life the message to Californians that sea level rise hits too close to home for us all to ignore. All the creative in our campaign will lead people to the sealevelriseca.org website very easily on their mobile or their laptop for them to learn more. And it's important when you do visit this that most people are actually likely to view this information from their mobile phones. So the website is specifically built to engage the average Californian and educate them on the challenges and solutions for sea level rise. So this is just a snapshot or screen grab of some of the pages of the website. We have compelling facts about what sea level rise is happening in California, challenges, but for every challenge, we do offer a solutions section with a positive frame. What's at stake, so people understand both the economic, cultural, and ecological impacts that are at stake. Some science resources and factoids from the science community that's been translated into publicly, easily digestible language. Some ideas of solutions, what people can actually do as individuals, and then examples in the works from all the great work that yourselves, the Coastal Commission, the Coastal Conservancy, and local communities are doing. And then we have this updated current news and stories section where we'll be featuring blogs and editorials and information, and then FAQs and glossary section. So now I'm going to try to get this to play, and we'll show you a little bit of the creative.
With 1 minute left to go in the game, the score remains 97-98.
All right. Well, there you have it. So that gives you an example of some of the creative video, all of that produced by award-winning videographers and filmmakers from the LA region. And as you can tell, there's longer features. There's 30-second clips and 10-second clips, and then a longer based full feature kind of sketch of that. So whether in video or in print, the campaign has a lighthearted and engaging feel that you can see captures the attention of the audience and leads them all to our website so that they can learn more. The content is presented in multiple languages so that we can communicate with some of the diverse audiences across the state. And you can see some of that here. The campaign includes creative original content plus paid earned media. And together this will drive successful awareness building for the campaign. In addition to the website, which is designed to break through the clutter, we have a variety of creative content and paid media, such as this transit poster that you see in the right in Spanish and the videos you just saw. We also plan on story pitches, media tours, and op-eds. And we'll also be reaching out to all sorts of different communities in their languages, but not just in their languages as well, but through the platforms and channels that resonate with them. The idea is that we really want to meet people where they are. This is not a one-size-fits-all campaign. And importantly, the media buys are guaranteed to reach a target of over 50 million impressions, building incredible momentum that we hope that all of you will work collaboratively to leverage. This slide illustrates some of the paid campaign vehicles of social, outdoor, video, and website that will work together to gain impressions and awareness. And we wanted to make it easy for you and the partners that we're going to be reaching. So we've created this one-stop shop media toolkit that you can use, or that others who see the campaign will get directed to when they view it on their mobile phone. And users can customize it for their needs and their various audiences. And it has all of these different components, and you'll obviously be getting this when we send out and launch the campaign. But we do need your help. We know that solutions are going to be driven locally as we all face this critical issue. And the campaign only offers assets to help in increasing the awareness and leveraging our sea level rise outreach collectively. We're relying on you and other partners to help us launch this campaign, as it will work best if you get behind it. We want to get some momentum going across the state, and that's kind of the real point of this campaign. And our media buys will get some decent impressions, but it will really, really pay off if you can amplify these messages on your channels. So ways that you can contribute, I'm sure we can all think of more, and I hope that this discussion will lead us to this, but obviously sharing the content, connecting your social media and teams with this team so that we can best coordinate postings, providing your thought leaders and blog posts or op-eds on specific sea level rise changes or opportunities in your areas. And in the future, we hope to be able to be hosting media tours of impact zones in your areas to highlight the great work that all of you are doing. This just gives you a little bit of the timeline. Mark referenced this before. We will be presenting this campaign at the September 14th Ocean Protection Council meeting. And then the official launch of the campaign is the 21st. There'll be a press release, and the launch is the 28th. And throughout the fall and winter, we'll be doing all of the media pitches, the transit posters, the digital outdoor kind of efforts and social media. And then right now we have funding through the end of January 2022. And really the future of this campaign depends on the success, and the success of that campaign depends on you to a large extent. So it will be TBD depending on how much amplification we can all reach together. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Mark for any closing remarks, and we can open it up to the team. We do have all of the creative and OPC partners from the Sea Level Rise campaign on deck to help answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky. That was great. I just want to echo your conclusion that really this campaign is only as good as our partnerships. You know, that we really need not only, you know, the magnification of the effort, but also from the standpoint of looking at the website and really being able to tell all the wonderful stories that your individual departments and agencies are part of. It's really only as good as the content that's on there. And so, really hope that this is a vehicle that you really take advantage of as a way to really, brag about all the great stuff that you're working on and the stories that you're involved in. And so I think that's just really important. And I know a lot of your departments and agencies have a pretty significant following, and so the more we can push out the campaign, obviously the better it is from the standpoint of really getting us to sea level rise awareness. And it's an exciting time to be working on sea level rise. Daunting, scary. Obviously, everything we're hearing from the IPCC reports that sea level rise is impacts are hitting us much more quickly than originally projected. That's scary stuff, but that means the urgency of this campaign is really even more important than when we started. And that new information is going to keep coming in. You're going to sort of get the national perspective on sea level rise in a big report end of November on what to expect. And so that information is still coming out. The budget on how generously is the state going to support coastal resilience, those decisions are all going to be made in the next few days. So just a heck of a lot going on here. And so the timing of this campaign really couldn't be any better. And so with that, not sure who I'm passing it to next, but I assume the May 77 team.
Actually, I'll take over.
Oh, Jennifer Savage. Sorry about that. Thanks, Jen.
No worries, no worries. I'm playing the role of facilitator here. So I'm Jennifer Savage, Policy and Communications Manager for Ocean Protection Council, and I will be serving to coordinate our questions and our answers. So what we're going to do is, if you have a question, if you could use the raise your hand feature, then I can call on you and the appropriate people on the team will respond. And I would just remind the folks on our team that we're trying to keep our answers concise so that we can have as much conversation and dialogue as possible so everyone gets a chance to get their questions answered. So I see that Sarah Amanzada, Coastal Commissioner, has her hand up. Take it away, Sarah.
Hey guys, really excited to see this come to fruition. We've been really asking for and needing like a comprehensive sea level rise awareness campaign for at least 3 years, if not longer. So congratulations on bringing it to fruition. I'm interested in the take action piece of this, and I raised this too when this was presented at the commission. I think the campaign is lighthearted and attention grabbing, which is great. But I think if we want to really ground it in kind of a serious engagement commensurate with like the scale of the challenge and the needs, we want to make sure that the take action piece is really meaningful. And so my initial idea is just that we could like encourage people to get involved, for example, in the King Tides initiative, but I'm a bit biased because that's a commission outreach effort. But I think too, we want to layer in some more potentially like substantive action items. And I'm just brainstorming, but I'm thinking aloud from some of the plastics related efforts where there's, you know, sort of a call to action or some kind of awareness piece. And then it links to a very cohesive set of menu of options of ways to actually take action. Obviously a bit more challenging with sea level rise, but I just think that could be a productive place to focus some energy over the next couple of months to make sure that those are really, you know, well curated, represent all of our agencies, and where we can really see some impact. And I mean, one other action item would be just to ask people to share this and spread the word. And just my last, I guess, comment or question is, I'm wondering too, if there's an opportunity to sort of use an ambassador type program where we can get folks to share this. I know that, for example, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus has been interested in sea level rise issues in the past through Heal the Bay. I'm sure there are others, but that was really helpful for the Check the Coast initiative at Coastal Commission. And this might be something where we similarly want to engage some high profile people to really help us amplify this. Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah.
Matt, did
Matt.
you want to respond to some of the, I know we had talked about
having ambassadors.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. This is Matthew King, the principal at May 77, and I actually worked with Julia on the initiative that Sarah just mentioned. A couple things, just responding to Sarah's pointed comments. You're exactly right that we want to lead people to some concrete actions. We just don't want to get them fired up and then just leave them hanging. Really, in the first phase of this campaign, though, is just to move it up on the level of lists of priorities for them and just getting them engaged with the subject. When it comes to calls to action specifically, really our number one focus now is really just sharing this with their networks, supporting organizations that are doing this work. And on a policy point of view, what we're doing will be encouraging them to get involved at the local level, to ask the hard questions of their local leaders, be it city council people or Board of Soups or whatever agency it is, about whether they have actually started doing some planning and whether they're prioritizing this or allocating money to get involved in adaptation and resilience. So as a hard call to action that's in the website, it'll be in some of our messaging. I think we just want to kind of prepare the battlefield, as it were, with just some of this awareness building. When it comes to the ambassador side, we have a list of social media influencers, and we will be going out to those people that are involved in the ocean space. And so, yes, there's celebrities that can be a challenge sometimes, but there's also a list of, cool chefs and, safe surfboard shapers and all those people. And we will be targeting those people to get involved in this program and amplify. So I'll keep it brief. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Do you have other questions, comments, feedback? How did folks enjoy the videos? It was just perfect and nobody has any follow-up thoughts. My conclusion. Do people feel good about sharing the work here and providing content as well, so we can get all the great work the state is doing in one place? If people don't start responding, I'll start telling terrible jokes. So I'm just warning you now.
I wanted to follow up to what Sarah, I think we all agree with Sarah's point about the call to action and making it stronger. And Sarah, I loved your ideas. And I would love to hear from everybody on this call. If you could give, I mean, absolutely, we will point to the king tides, but if there are other specific examples or ways that we can, recommend a call to action from your work, please send that to us. I mean, I think we're really aware of, I think we're concerned about, making the call to action because a lot of that is, locally driven, and we didn't want to appear like the state, applying pressure to, local governments. But if there are specific ways that we can lead people to your work, or there's ways that they can take action at a local level. We thought of things like snap a photo, and there's some pilots that are going on with virtual reality work. We'd love to include that. So Sarah, please, if you have more ideas, we're absolutely down to hear them.
Yeah, thanks, Ricky. And, I think one of the great things that can come out of this is so many of us are doing great work in our various agencies, and by starting to combine all of the stories of that work, I think it will inspire other ideas about how people, the broader public, can engage.
This is Taylor at the Coastal Conservancy. I think the videos are hilarious. They're really cute. The costumes are, it's very like timely and funny. It didn't feel like we were browbeating people at all. I think I'm really impressed with them. And of course we will share them.
Great.
Thank you.
Oops, sorry. I was trying to put my hand up, but I'm clapping instead. Oh, goodness.
No worries.
We'll
Um,
take that.
Yeah, no, I thought they were really well executed, and a lot of fun. And I do think, you know, that they will translate, you know, well among different cultures and different age groups. I can already, my only concern is that my daughter will want the sea to move in because she'll want animals like that in our house. I just had one question. What I was wondering is so if we have something, or if we need to contact somebody regarding this, I mean, is Jen our first point of contact from the communication side, or is resources handling that? I guess if you could let us know, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great question. You can definitely reach out to me.
And
And
we're hoping it's Jen. But we'll make sure of that, especially since it's on a CNRA website. So we'll have to figure that out in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
I will be at least a link in the chain. So there we go. Larry, thanks for raising your hand.
Thanks, and thanks for this. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know a darn thing about how you buy in order to get impressions and the like, especially these days. What I'm really interested in, though, given that we work with frontline, very much non-white and mixed ethnic communities along San Francisco Bay, how was this tested with those types of audiences? And is the approach in working with them and exposing them to this kind of advertising, this kind of advocacy, different for, say, East Palo Alto or Richmond than it would be, say, for Palo Alto or a place like that, all of which are facing rising sea level?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good
I was
question.
gonna ask Nadia maybe to jump in. I mean, we reached out across the state to a lot of different groups, including, you know, not just groups that work with sea level rise, but all sorts of community groups across the state that reach into various diverse, you know, audiences. But maybe Nadia can speak to some of that as
So
well.
yeah, thank you, Ricky. I'll let Matt chime in after me regarding any of the, you know, sort of focus groups that happened in order to get to this campaign. But just really briefly, so the creative, obviously, in addition to being in multiple languages, it was, you know, in terms of the Spanish language, was not a direct translation. We took some time to think of how we wanted to use the theme of the campaign and how we wanted to convey that in Spanish. Obviously, the images will be the same, but we are working on a next iteration after this creative goes out, because this is certainly just the beginning. And what I mean by in terms of the next phase of that work is the storytelling aspect of this and how we reach those communities authentically. So if there's sea level rise is impacting Imperial Beach or San Pedro in a specific way, then it's sort of our job to figure out how that impact is happening very locally. And then the goal would be then to reach, for example, Spanish speaking reporters, among others that are because there are others that are writing for Spanish speaking audiences and multicultural audiences in general in English, but focusing on their issues. So how do we reach those journalists, connect them to the specific situation, if you will, whether it is in the East, you know, Palo Alto or wherever that work is happening, and then tell that story on a local level, because that's how you really get people to understand how this is impacting them, right? Beyond a creative that is meant to just get them to stop and say, what am I looking at? And you know, maybe register, which is the goal, the first goal. And Matt can chime in addition to kind of the focus groups.
Yeah, hi, this is Matthew King. So before we started on this whole adventure, we conducted several focus groups in the Greater Bay Area, LA, and the San Diego area that were weighted to match the demographics of those particular areas. And so one of the challenges that we have, with a relatively small budget, is to try to find a message that will, quote, resonate with all Californians. And what we came up with was this idea of stewardship, that no matter where you lived or what economic strata you were coming from, that people have a shared pride and a concern about the state and what makes it a state and our natural resources. And so what we tried to do was to try to come up with messaging that would appeal across a broad range of people. And I think we've done that. When it comes specifically to the media buys, the partner we work with is someone that I've worked with in LA County on COVID, on the census, SoCal Gas about low-income assistance and whatnot. They are expert at reaching multicultural audiences and tailoring specific campaigns to certain audiences and on certain platforms. And that's why we're creating it in different languages. And so I feel confident with the team that we have, that we can reach them with segmented messaging that will appeal to them. We have a whole section of our content and our branding toolkit focuses on equity and justice. And so we have messages that are talking about how the most vulnerable people are the ones that are already suffering and are most at risk because they have the least resources to adapt or relocate or whatnot. So we have a wealth of material that are geared towards those lenses. So I feel pretty good about that.
So follow-up question, how does BCDC with our local government partners and our CBO partners partner then with this campaign in a way that leverages what we're already doing and what they are already doing?
Well, I think the first step is you'll be receiving this toolkit, which will be in different languages and which will have these message points by differing lenses to make it easier for them to share. But more important, Larry, I think, is we want to tell their stories. That's why we are reaching out, and we're hoping that you can connect us with them. And so when it comes time to share news articles or blog posts, that they might be able to share some of the work they're doing, and we can amplify their voices, that we can use our platform to amplify their voices and the good work they're doing. I'll use one small example. At launch, we're going to have a blog post from Serge Dedina, who is the mayor of Imperial Beach, probably one of the poorest, if not the poorest coastal communities in California. And he's writing a story about how his experiences, it may sound contrarian, but he's viewing sea level rise almost as an opportunity as much as a threat, and that this is going to allow their community to invest in resiliency in a way that's not only going to protect the shoreline in their community, but it's also creating economic benefits and social benefits. And so that's the example, Larry. I hope that we would be able to connect with people and have them tell their unique and authentic stories, and then we can help get it out on our networks. This is just not about, hey, here's our content, blast it out. It really is a dialogue. We want them to participate with us.
And Larry, I'll follow up and say that the website's intended to be a place where the work, for example, that BCDC is doing can be showcased as well, so that it's as Matt said, not just this campaign being disseminated, but more importantly, almost using it as a tool to bring forward other content, other programs, other work that all of the partner agencies, local, state, federal, are doing around sea level rise, so that anybody in California can look at this website and say like, oh, this is what's happening. Here's stuff that is relevant to me wherever they are in California, whoever they are in California. That would be, the ideal situation, followed up by some courses of action. So
Exactly. And I would encourage everybody, this is Ricky, to please send us those events and so we did this on a different campaign for MPAs where we had partners across the state and we were kind of working in a coordinated fashion to amplify the content and messaging from all of the partners together. And so if you send us materials or events or posts or things like that, and we're all working under the same hashtags and kind of leveraging one another, we ended up reaching, 9 times more the reach than we had in the previous decade by working together. So absolutely, this will be, the news and blogs and stories page will be populated by the content that you share with us. So the idea is that this does highlight your work and that all of us work together to promote and tag and like and share amongst all of our networks. And that way we won't compete with Nike and Coca-Cola, but we do a lot better job at doing that if we work together.
Well said, Ricky. Are there other questions, feedback, thoughts? All right. Well, for next steps, as Ricky mentioned in the presentation, we will be presenting this at the OPC meeting on September 14th, but it's not officially launching until September 28th. There'll be a whole media toolkit that's provided, and if there's questions between now and then or at any time going forward, feel free to reach out to me. I will drop my email in the chat just in case you don't have it, although I think everybody in here probably does. But if there's no further questions or discussion, we can wrap early. But this is your chance, or if anybody else just wants to make any comments. All right, well, we really appreciate everybody taking the time to be here and to check out the campaign, and looking forward to working with you in the coming months. And again, if something comes to you after this moment, feel free to reach out. Ricky, did you want to say anything, or Mark, or anybody else as we wrap? All right, well, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.